Opie Radio is back.
I'm embarrassed that DC's never been on my radio show. I'm embarrassed by that.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure to be here.
I just feel like you should have done this show. And then Vic Henley just loves your ass.
That's my man.
He's like, you got to get DC Benny in here. I'm like, all right. Well, where are you? There you go, buddy.
He made my show better. You know, not a lot. I can't say that about a lot of comedians. That someone actually helped me make my shitty show better.
Now, stand up?
Yes, absolutely.
How did that happen?
Because he had the storytelling show downtown,
right?
And there was a whole 98 through 90s through early 2000. There's a period in there where it's real cool to go downtown.
It was cool, man. It was in a jazz bar.
That was it started at Luna. It was the first, but they would do offbeat weird things and all these different character nights and things. And so he started a storytelling show in the jazz bar in the back room, looked like a hookah lounge.
Yeah, nice.
It was sweet, man.
It was sweet, man. It sounds like you miss it.
I do, man. It was a great time, man. Everybody came through there, man.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And so
sounds like a great vibe.
And I would never do the free gigs. I'm old school and I'm cheap, and so I was always bitching about it. And then I would eventually run into him, and all my friends were doing it. And he's like, "Quit being a jackass and come do the show."
Yeah.
And he would give us a topic a few days ahead of time, and we would have to go down and tell a story on the topic. That had to be funny. Could be. We had a couple of dudes that were specialized in the creepy, weird story.
Yeah.
That by the end of the audience, you're just sitting there going, "I don't know if we should be listening to this one."
Then you throw a funny dude on to save it, to dig out of it.
Before the room walks itself.
But the point was tell the story on the topic and tell it well. A good story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so we did this, for years.
Yeah, it was great.
That started, and then I probably did it for at least 5 years.
Wow.
And then I started putting stories in my show, and people started liking it. And ever since then, I almost close every single set. There's always 2 stories in one of my 45-minute sets.
You got the midget story and that George Bush story, man.
I've never told the George Bush story they play on Sirius, actually. Yeah.
So how did he help your comedy, and how does that happen? Because I would imagine it's tough for you to just go, "Hey, Vic, can I talk to you for a second?
Well,
I think it could help some of your stand-up here."
But he didn't. It wasn't like that. It was just.
That's why I'm asking. I don't know how that would come about.
I didn't tell stories in my show. I wrote shitty jokes about things I thought and whatever I heard and blah blah blah. And I didn't really tell stories.
Yeah.
Or embrace the long form of that, because if you're used to fast-paced stuff or getting a laugh, you can get insecure or whatever.
Sure.
The pacing of the whole thing, and going down there and doing that all the time. And I was getting a divorce, so it also helped. Just to get it out. Just to do something.
There was some drinking that went on in that hookah room.
Drinking, openly smoking weed in the place.
That too, yeah.
Nobody's getting mad about anything. Nobody's. The jazz band would come in and fucking start setting up and come in the back, and we're all laughing and giggling. And then I started realizing, I'm like, I should put one of these in, because the funny ones, they would all tell me, they're like, "Dude, put that in your show. That's funny."
Hard. It's hard to do that because, especially if you're in the city and it's like, you're on one of these showcase clubs, it's 10 comics, and everybody's got the joke concentrate, bang, 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 and then you kind of switch it up and do long form, and the audience is used to punch.
I'm a huge fan of long form.
Yeah,
huge fan of someone that can tell a story, and then the jokes are obviously throughout the whole story. That's my favorite type of comedy.
Like I said, it's my favorite. It's one of mine. It is totally. When Pryor would go in the characters and do Mudbone, and you get a character and a story.
Yeah,
get Mudbone telling.
And the laughs are there.
Oh, the fucking laughs are there. You just gotta wait for it. Sure, absolutely.
So during the break, we were talking about rats, and then I don't know. Paula Rowland walked in and said, "You want to see a guy eating baby rats?" Why are they eating baby rats? Does anyone know? Is it a delicacy somewhere? Who brought this to our attention, Paul?
Roland did.
Oh, Roland. And then he just leaves?
Yeah.
E-Rock is sitting here dumbfounded.
E-Rock?
He has nothing. No.
No, I was just trying to figure out why I got a video.
Ooh, it squeaks. Look at that.
Here you go.
It's only 10 seconds. I got to
seasoning.
泡着，这可惜了这小崽子，哎妈！
Oh my God. Oh.
He's doing it.
Oh my God. Oh, okay.
That can't be good. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He didn't look like he enjoyed that.
All right. He did not enjoy that.
He did not enjoy that.
He's just trying to get a stupid video out there.
Okay.
Wow.
But there is a lot of baby rats in that bowl there.
Now, this one they're dunking in soy sauce.
All right. Yeah, he's got chopsticks.
Kind of thing.
It's a live baby rat with some soy sauce. He's not handling it either.
No.
All right, we know this. Yeah, it's right. I mean, we'll tweet out the videos. You can go and enjoy that for yourself, right?
I don't need to see that. Tom Arnold used to swallow a goldfish. That was his one when he started doing stand-up. That was one of his closers.
He would close with swallowing
He would put the goldfish on a thread and swallow it and then pull it back out.
Oh, beautiful. That's kind of fun.
That's what they do in the toilets. In the jail, the drugs, they flush it down on a string and then they pull it back out. So it's,
How do you know that, DC Benny? How do you know that?
DC Benny is familiar with all things criminal. Believe me, he knows. I've met some shady people through DC Benny.
Really? Have you had problems over the years?
Not so many. I've been,
I've
definitely mellowed in my old age. You know?
Okay.
Here, it's all legal now.
The shadiest two were twins and were millionaires and rich, and you wouldn't think they'd be shady.
Oh yeah.
And I don't mean they're just crazy. I don't mean
his friends.
Oh yeah. But you wouldn't look at this guy and go, put a piece of acid on your eyeball. This is not that guy.
Right.
And they were always.
And that's what we did. And I remember at his house, I'm staring at this painting of this horse, and it looked like a man's ass, right? It was the back of a horse. It looked like a man's ass, and he's like, the artist is here, this guy Tommy, you got to meet and I'm tripping already. And he brings the guy over, and I'm like, why does it look like a man's ass? And he's like, well, Tommy fucked a horse, right? So I'm like, all right, I don't know if I want to hear this, but tell me. And he's like, well, you take the beast, you ride it out to the water, and then you submerge and then slide down the back, and I had to leave. That was L.A. I just had to leave that conversation.
Wait, he was explaining how you do it?
That was his way to do it.
I couldn't believe he would actually, you actually did it, and he explained the technical, you ride it, and he was like, it was love, and
What I find hilarious about that is when someone decides to have sex with an animal, the animal just keeps eating.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, most of the
Why I know that, I'm not going to say, but that's what I find so funny about those videos, that they're just eating the whole time. They're not even bothered that you're trying to have sex with it.
Yeah, it's kind of like marriage after a while. With you're there with the wife, she's like, lifts up a leg, do your business, and go to sleep. I'm eating these oats.
That's the old joke. Just vacuuming. Just keep vacuuming, honey. Just keep vacuuming. Yeah. That's still Donald Trump joke.
Wow, that's weird. But he wanted to tell you about how to have sex with a horse.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I just wanted to hear about the painting. I'm like, why is it?
Right.
But, that was the deal.
No, a horse's ass definitely looks like
a giant. Yeah,
a giant.
Sure.
This one really did.
Giant athlete's ass. Let's just put it that way.
Okay,
right. We could say that.
Right. Hell yeah.
See, that looks like a giant.
That's Beyonce. That's Beyonce's butt. Strong and firm, and maybe not that part.
There's the weave.
Not
all
that
right. Got that at Fulton Mall.
Yeah. And you also were telling me right before you got in here that you did comedy in China, huh?
Oh yeah.
I want to go to China badly. Oh, did you like it?
I loved it, man. I was very scared to go because long flight. I don't like flying. It was like 13 hours and another 3-hour flight or whatever. But it was, and you couldn't talk about a lot of stuff. Like you couldn't talk about the 3 T's. They have the armband guys there they'll come in and monitor the shows.
I never caught wind of any of that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Don't talk about Tiananmen Square or Tibet, or there was some other
thing. The 3 T's. That's what they call it.
The 3 T's. Don't talk about those. The crime is very low because if you're caught, especially with drugs, apparently they catch you with drugs or firearm, automatic death penalty. You get a bullet to the back of the head, and they send your family the bill for 13 cents. So it's really, it's really like discouraged. There's not a lot of crime. Yeah.
And it takes the family a year to pay it off.
Yeah, right.
Working in a bauxite mine.
A year of making Nike sneakers.
Good God.
Yeah, it was
pay the debt to society.
It was tight, man. It was tight, but the shows were great. Like a lot of expats. So you get the Australians and the English, and a couple, some Jewish guy from Jersey tell me where to get kosher food and stuff like that. And then 30% Chinese. It was great.
Being an American though, sorry, Vic.
No.
Are you a little worried that you're going to fuck up? Because probably something that's accepted here in the States, you do it over there, and all of a sudden you're
basically just don't talk about the government.
Okay.
And you're good. You can talk about pretty much. They don't care about sex or drugs.
Where's
or whatever.
the caning?
That's Singapore.
Singapore,
yeah.
Like where you spit on. That's what I'm talking about. You spit on the sidewalk or you're chewing gum. Next thing you know, they're throwing you into a prison and
you get that Midnight Express. Yeah,
that's what I mean by that. Like, was there anything where you're like,
I elected not to go there because that was going to be part of it, and I stayed made in China, but I think the rules there were a lot harsher. It was like doing like a corporate gig or something.
Yeah.
But, you know, China was pretty, their comedy was kind of still developing a lot. Like they had like dudes in panda suits hitting each other with bats and shit like that on TV. I mean, that's kind of where it was at, you know?
They're in the vaudeville stage.
Well, it's funny. I was talking to Corey Elliott exactly about this at Gotham a couple of weeks ago because Pete Corey went to Lebanon.
Oh, wow.
And he goes home with, at the time, the most popular comedian in Lebanon because the guy had weed and he was going to go back and actually run the risk of smoking weed with the dude in Lebanon. And they got stopped by a Jeep with a machine gun on them. And then the guys recognized that it was the comedian. And so as soon as they get back to his house, they're talking, they're hanging out, they're smoking a little weed. The dude tells him, you know, he keeps complimenting Corey on how he just stands there. It was just so effortless. You came out, you set your bottle of water on the stool and you just stood there. Right. And he kept, after they're all stoned and he keeps saying it 80 million times, Pete goes, well, what do you mean? And he goes, well, I wasn't going to ask you to watch my act, but, here, look what I have to do. This is what I have to do.
Wow.
I could never just stand there and talk like you do. And the dude came out and he had on like right out of Aladdin. He had on the big curly slippers, the curly toe slippers. He had on a very bright multicolored robe. He had a funny hat on. He had bubbles blowing all around him. He turned on a bubble machine and he had a glass of like, it looked like champagne. He had a champagne glass, but you weren't allowed to have champagne, but it had like something sparkling in it. And he has to come out to just music and just dance around for the first 5 minutes. Yeah, he doesn't even say anything. He goes, if I don't start like this every show, they'll be booing me off stage.
Wow.
Well, and Corey was like,
there's some clubs on the Lower East Side. They're a little like that, you know, some of those alternative rooms. But
a little on the strange side.
Oh, that's great, man.
Go
ahead.
No, go.
I was going to ask you, where did you go? Did you go to Beijing?
Went to Beijing,
Hong Kong?
Shanghai, this Suzhou,
I don't know,
and Chengdu, and each one had like different region, different food, like different, you know, their.
But you didn't go to Hong Kong, or that
I didn't make it to Hong Kong.
The British dudes always go to the one in Hong Kong. It's always Beijing.
God, you're
Hong
that
Kong.
close, and you don't get to go to Hong Kong.
Usually they send you there first because that's the one that's most where the most expats. The show you'll really go flying well in English.
You go elsewhere from there.
But that pollution was something else too. I mean, it was like I felt like breathing the air there. It was such a different. I mean, it's New York. You know, New York is bad, but there it felt like taking a breath felt like you're doing a sit up with a passed out panda on your chest. And you come up and you do a bong hit off a catalytic converter. That's what it felt like every breath. You know, it was crazy, man.
You don't realize how bad the air is in New York City until after a rainstorm, and then you get that couple hours where it's pretty nice. Pure the air for a little bit until
a second.
Yeah, for a second or two before the pollution takes over again. I want to take this call because Vic, you got another fan.
All right.
Casey in Pennsylvania, go ahead.
Opie, it's an honor and a pleasure. Vic, the young lady's name is Lee. She's listening right now. Tomorrow's her birthday, and when she hears your voice, things get going.
Is young lady a euphemism for something?
No.
Really a person?
To me, every woman is a young lady. That's
okay. Happy birthday, Lee. If that's what you're shooting for, happy birthday.
Things are getting going.
Yes, exactly. And I have one question for Opie.
Yeah.
When are you going to check the bank account in Erie?
The bank account in Erie. He wants you to check a bank account in Erie.
I don't understand that, sir.
That is an old callback from way back in the day when you were on terrestrial radio.
See, I said this last week. The fans know more about this radio show than I do. What's the callback? Now I need to know.
You made a comment a long time ago that you had a checking account in Erie and you needed to check the balance.
What the fuck?
Like I said, this is when you were on, I think it was CMF up in Rochester when I heard it.
Oh, wow. So that's fabulous. I hope it's still open. Wouldn't that be the greatest
I don't know
thing
if I'm trying to think if I ever had a bank account in Erie. All right, well, that's a hell of a callback.
Yeah, you guys got a great show. I love it in the afternoon. Home run.
Thank you, sir.
You're doing fantastic,
Thank you, man.
brother.
All right, brother.
All right, you guys have a
Thank you.
good day.
And we got DC Benny in here for the first time.
Fantastic, man.
Fantastic.
Callbacks
right.
you don't remember. I love it.
Yeah, that was when I was working on the home of rock and roll in Rochester, New York. I actually put up some video last night. The day I met Sam Kinison, I got video of that day when he was on Brother Weeze's show, and I'm just a schmuck in the background, just starting in radio, and I get to meet and hang out with Sam Kinison
That's awesome.
with Brother Weeze and I posted a couple videos on the
You were
YouTube
not
channel.
in some weird outfit or something. You're not like in a diaper.
Well, no, it was that dumb sweater. I've shown you the picture.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no, but I didn't know if there were others like a big lollipop. I was that guy who's
Like
the guy.
the dude with the blowing bubbles.
Here you go. Pause this, just because you guys could appreciate this. So you
Yeah.
got Sam Kinison. This is like 1988, 89-ish, if I remember correctly. The guy with the really long hair and the sunglasses, that's Jimmy Schubert.
I was going to say.
And then this guy, if you play the video with the dark hat right behind Kinison, is a very young Carl LaBeouf.
That is Carl LaBeouf.
And I'm trying to, maybe you guys know some of the other guys in here because they were the Outlaws of Comedy. So there were a couple other guys.
Oh, Epstein might be in there. Who else?
But look at how many
Schubert with that hair, man.
Look how many people were in the studio for Sam Kinison, man. He had an entourage, and then everyone at the radio station wanted to check it out. And then I put up a video. You know how everyone's talking about locker room talk lately?
Yeah.
There were these sales guys that were watching, what was going on from the other studio, and they were commenting about all the girls, and they were talking about how this girl's a gobble queen. And is it worth popping up the audio, you think, for a second, Paul? Here, start push play on this.
Oh no! Here we go. She's gonna shut. Oh, wow. Thank you.
That's the girl. She faxed it in. It's got her tattoo of her boyfriend.
She's nasty. Get her out of there. Get her out of there. The blonde. I like that blonde right there, man. She looks fucking. She looks like a fucking gobble queen.
Senator.
I like that blonde. It's Schubert, man. What are you talking about?
The guy.
I can introduce you to Jimmy.
I know exactly who that is. I don't want to blow up his spot because I remember him being kind of a cool guy, but I mean, he didn't sound too cool there. Like, oh, she's got to be a gobble queen. There you go. There's what guys do when they're alone with each other.
I like that. I like that phrase, though.
Gobble queen. We did that. We used to say that maybe when we were 17 years old.
Sure.
That guy was probably in his 30s at that point.
Yeah, that's where what's the age cutoff? Is where
I think if you're a teenager, you could almost get away with saying gobble queen.
Into college years. Good Lord, there's shit I said in college. I'm sure it'd be the most embarrassing.
Chills, as we like to say.
Yeah.
Douche chills. You're watching the debate tonight? Who's not watching this one?
Yeah.
But the ratings on the second one went down about 10 or 15 million.
Yeah, I'll be watching Cubs Dodgers.
Over the debate?
Yeah, I'll be watching Cubs Dodgers.
Are you kidding?
Yes, I will be watching Cubs Dodgers.
You don't give a fuck?
I have not watched any. I watched 3 minutes. I watched maybe maximum 9 minutes of the first one. That was it.
God bless you, Henley. Yeah, I do.
I saw everything
feel like
I needed
that.
to see in 9 minutes. I saw everything I needed to see.
You want? I don't know.
I can't avoid it.
Yeah.
I literally cannot avoid this.
Good.
The second one was amazing.
That's what a lot of people enjoy.
And now they're saying that no one's going to be shaking hands this time.
Uh-oh.
The second debate, they all had to shake hands, and it was such an awkward moment because the two sides are not getting along, obviously. But the families aren't going to shake hands. And Trump has nothing to lose. He knows he's losing this thing. He's basically saying that now because now he's going with everything's rigged, and that's why I'm losing this thing.
I think I was hosting the show during the second one, and I kept walking back out as I was introducing the comedians and just making up different shit. I'm like, she just stabbed him in the fucking neck. Each time I went back out, I'm like, he actually has a bullwhip and is chasing her around the stage.
That's great.
That's
great, dude.
Because nobody was there that night.
Yeah.
I'm the only jackass who's chosen to host on a night of, everybody's watching the debate. Me and the 19 people at the Comics had a lot of fun that night.
I think this is going to go down in history. I think this is going to
something crazy is going to happen.
Yes, I think this is going to be pretty fucked up.
Tonight's going to be the one. I'm a little with Henley in that I've watched a couple bits and pieces, but I get irritated, and my wife watches all of them, so I hear about it, and then it gets rehashed the day after or whatever. So I don't know. We'll see tonight. We'll see.
Wait, you're actually getting irritated by this whole thing?
Yeah, man.
I'm just entertained.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
I don't like either choice, and I'm just entertained by the whole.
Yeah, I get more aggravated if it's.
I'm aggravated that this is what we came up with as a country.
It's embarrassing when we go around, when we go on the road. Like I was just in Canada, and they're like people like, you really, that's your guy? That's your guy out of everybody, what can you say, man?
You had your guy, Toronto, Rob Ford.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody can pick a jackass globally.
True.
I think that's what unites us.
This is why you should watch, though. Trump is bringing Obama's half-brother
a whole other
that
level.
hates Obama.
He tried to bring the Clinton. He tried to bring he was going to have a box of Clinton mistresses. Right. Did you see that, Ben? He was going to, at the last one, he was going to have a special, like a little jury box of just all the women that had been wronged by Bill down through the years.
And he wanted them to sit with his family, but then they put him up a little higher or a little further away from the family. He was going to sit next to the
kids so they get some good
like a basket of trap rats there. Like Morgan Spurlock.
And then Bill Clinton's eyes were it was wonderful. He was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, looking around.
He did what? Where are they sitting? Oh, shit.
I know. Those eyes are bulging like the black dude in the boat in Caddyshack.
look, he's like, where are they sitting? I can't move my head. Just tell me where they're fucking sitting. But Trump is now bringing, Obama's half-brother who hates Obama and loves Trump.
Good. Is that him?
Yeah, there he is. There he is.
Oh, good. Good for Malik.
Wow.
But that's going to backfire because I think we all have family members we hate, no?
This is like bringing in the little dude in The Godfather when he brought his. Remember when?
Oh yeah, the brother. He just sat there.
He just sat there with a weird hat. Yes, same hat, little weird hat. Bring in a dude. Apparently, when the chips are down, that's what you do. Go in another country, bring in a little dude with a weird hat.
I didn't see nothing. I don't know what I lied to him.
Eric, what were you saying? Like I said, I can't really hear you.
It looks like James Earl Jones from Coming to America.
Oh yeah, of course it does. Yes, very good.
It's a little Bernie Mac right there.
I don't see the resemblance between the half brother and Obama.
No, that's true. That's right.
I don't see much of a resemblance.
No, the ear's different. Everything.
I was going to say you would have thought the ears would have at least stayed.
Yeah, no, his ears are a little more under control. You can say that, right? Obama's got some
probably got some hookup, some pin back.
Some strange ears.
Yeah, they are sure
sticking out a little bit.
Stephen Colbert's got the one. He's got one.
It's a fake ear.
Years
Stephen
ago,
Colbert's
when I first moved,
really?
Wait, who has a fake ear?
Colbert. He has a prosthetic ear.
That's why it looks odd.
Yeah.
Now I feel bad.
Why doesn't he glue it down a little bit? Show me the fake ear. And then we'll get to you.
My friend's
I know you're trying to get in there. I'm sorry, but I got to see the fake ear.
My brother's ears were friend's brother's ears were so big they had them pinned back when he was a baby.
They used to do that a lot.
Yeah,
that pinning back thing, and then they.
Oh my God! You would think they would come up with a better ear than that.
Look at that thing! Wow!
And then there's what's wrong with his ear? How did his ear get fucked up?
It was a lawn mowing accident.
The weed whacker just,
Oh God!
He's from
go back up. It says his right ear has been wonky ever since an operation he had at the age of 10. It sticks out like a dog's ear, said an insider. So he tried putting his right profile to the gas, but he's also deaf in that ear. Oh, fuck.
Oh, man, now you feel awful.
Yeah. I like his joke, though. Read the joke. He says, that's just what happens when your surgeon uses a melon baller. That's what you get when your doctor uses a melon baller on your ear surgery.
How do you fuck up an ear surgery that bad?
On a kid.
On a kid.
He was in South Carolina. I'll go back to that.
Yeah.
Anything could happen. It was probably done with a Confederate knife. Had a little rust on it.
Yeah.
Some infection set in.
Bayonet.
Got locked. Yeah, right.
Civil War bayonet.
What were you going to say in there? Do you remember?
I was years ago. I met Trump when I first moved to.
Oh God, I remember this.
Yeah, when I first moved to New York. I was living with this guy who was a stylist in Times Square, and I needed some money. And he's like, so he comes. He's like, I got a gig for you. I need you to bring. I got this photo shoot. Columbus Circle. I need you to bring this dog up to the photo shoot. All right. So I'm like, all right. He's like, here's some money for the cab. Well, go get it from my friend Matthew. So I go to this guy Matthew in the Village. He brings his dog out. It's a giant blue poodle. It's been dyed blue like a Smurf, right? So he's like, don't get him wet because he runs. He's giving me all these instructions. It's got this rhinestone necklace. He's like, this is Bel Air. This is DC, Bel Air, DC. It's just bizarre. And I'm just in the city. Like, I'm just figuring shit out. So, get in a cab. The driver's like, hey, that dog better not crap. I'm like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So we're driving the dog. I'm 6'4", but the dog's taller. I mean, it's taller than me, sitting next to me. I'm driving with this blue dog in the cab. All the cab drivers are looking at it like, what? We get up to Columbus Circle. I'm standing there with the dog. I can't find my roommate, and there's some like PETA demonstration or something going on. Of course, that day. So all these old Jewish ladies come. How would you like if somebody did that to you and dyed your hair blue? I'm like, it's not my dog, whatever. So right in the middle of it, the one I'm holding with the rhinestone necklace, looking extra masculine. So right then, Trump comes out of the hotel and goes, I'll never forget. He looks at me, he goes, "I love that pooch." He gets into a limo and drives off, and that's when I met him, and that was my introduction to New York.
Oh, I thought you were bringing the blue dog to Donald Trump.
No.
Okay. He just
love that pooch.
No, I was bringing it to some photos, but it's just bizarre. It was like
New York City moment.
He used to call the show.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, he was so much fun.
Really? He's kind of funny. I mean, he is kind of funny.
He was so much fun as far as getting on a radio show.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed this whole thing until one day I went, oh my God, this is getting way too serious.
Yeah.
This is like the real deal now. I didn't think he was going to make it this far.
No,
this is crazy.
Who did?
And I never thought Schwarzenegger would have been elected governor of California. I never, ever dreamed that.
It's bizarre, man. It is so bizarre.
They said that about Reagan, though. It's the guy from the Monkey movies.
Yeah.
I can't believe the guy from the Monkey movies.
Westerns and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our Donald Trump Jr. audio is making the rounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were played all over the cable channels last night. Megyn Kelly did a little action with it, CNN.
Huh.
Yeah, he said some things.
Did he?
Yeah, he said some things.
No
but
gobbling.
He came in here and was having fun. It was me and Anthony and Jim Norton at the time, and he was talking about how he's bummed that you can't make fun of fat people anymore. They got that sound bite that's going everywhere. DC goes, that's great. A few people told me, these clips are being played all over the place, and I don't remember exactly what he said over the years, because we've had Donald Trump Jr. on off and on for the last, 4 or 5 years, and I'm like, oh my God, please, and I'm listening, going, praying I didn't say anything too stupid.
Yeah, sure.
I'm clean though, man. I realize I'm clean in these clips. Not too bad.
That's pretty good.
Not too bad, but Donald Trump Jr. all bummed out. He can't make fun of fat people. Here it is. Well, it's a disease. He talks about fat people. He goes, no, go right there. Well, it's a disease, a host said. So it was either me or Anthony or Jimmy said that. And then Trump Jr. goes, fat people get everything's a disease. Yeah, they're offended until they lose weight, said another host. Laziness is a disease too, Trump Jr. said. And then it went on to talk about how he's bummed you can't make fun of fat people anymore.
Yeah, my grandfather used to get angry when he would see fat people. I don't know, it was he'd always get angry. He'd be like, they could do something about it. They could, like, it's not always I could do,
Yeah, I feel like you could do something to a point. But then I do feel like people are born with a body type.
Sure. Oh God, yeah.
But I think you have a little responsibility in there where you could keep it under control to
that
a
third
point.
Pound cake, maybe.
Yeah, maybe you could squeeze, lose about 10 or 15. I don't know.
For wrestling in high school, I had to get a physical thing, and I'm reading through it, and I had a couple of words I couldn't understand, and so I took it to my friend's mom, who was a nurse, and I'm like, well, I can't understand what he's saying right here. And I could tell she didn't want to tell me, and I'm like, well, what? And she says, it says that if you're not careful, you could be really fat. I have that. He goes, you have some sort of body type that would lend yourself. She goes, you're never going to be muscular. You'll just be fat.
How the fuck do they figure that out?
Yeah.
I was like 14.
Now here's your cigarette and drink your milk, right?
But yeah, I was like, she used some Latin terms or something. She's basically, they're telling you that if you work out and everything, you won't really get big and bulky and muscular. That you could, you'll get a little stronger.
But they knew by just looking at you and checking out your numbers?
Yeah, your bone structure.
Sounds questionable to me, man.
I don't know.
Well, we got Dr. Steve. We got a doctor on call. So we're going to call him to see how true this is. Try to get Dr. Steve on the phone. Speaking of politics and Trump, by the way, the White House press secretary mocks Donald Trump for wanting pre-debate drug tests. This is a very good clip. Do you want to play it for everybody, Paul?
Yep.
Yeah, let's play this.
On Saturday, Donald Trump suggested that presidential candidates should have to take a drug test. White House response?
Well, so you're telling me that the candidate who snorted his way through the first 2 debates is accusing the other candidate of taking drugs? It's a curious development in the campaign.
That's your response?
That's my response. Michelle?
Are you saying just now that you think that the sniffling or snorting, as you described it, might have been related to...
Not at all.
Okay. So what were you saying? What were you trying to get across when you said that?
I'm just trying to have a little fun. You're so serious today.
That's great. He looks so guilty saying during a little fun.
Right, he didn't lie. He had to admit that he was just joking.
But you know what's great about this? He thought he was going to get a huge laugh. He got nothing. He went, oh, fuck. And then you could see he's...
I know that feeling.
It's like, oh, man, I thought this was going to bring down the house. It's not one giggle.
You got to explain it to him,
They're not playing that as a real clip today. Like, it's obvious he was going for a joke and got nothing. He got nothing from it.
Tough crowd, tough room.
The White House press room. Yeah, once what's her name left, it became what was her little lady that was great, that was always there forever, 1,000 years.
Oh, with the red dress? We're talking about the red dress lady?
Helen.
It is Helen.
I know who you're talking about.
Helen was there forever.
Helen.
Once Helen left, it all went to shit. They lost their sense of humor in the press room.
Yeah.
Press.
Helen Thomas, there you go.
Helen Thomas, very good. Did you get that? Oh, no, you didn't get that one? Is Dr. Steve there? They're calling. It looks like we might have him in a second here.
This is regarding your
my pudginess.
Yeah, that's like those things, when you that old school stuff, like have a steak a day, and
my dad. I'm shaped like him, and he put on weight back and forth lots of times. He was always fat, but I don't ever remember being a big muscular pumped up guy.
Well, you never been fat since I know you.
So, because I got a gut. I have to gut. I have to watch it.
Cleverly hidden.
That's right. Wear a lot of black t-shirts. I have some moo-moos at home. I have a moo-moo with Jabba the Hutt on it, so it really makes it look smaller. Spanx.
You were never a big guy, were you?
I was a fat kid. The last time I've had to lose like 30 to 35 a couple of times in my life, a couple of different times.
Or you could have just left it on.
Yeah, but I didn't feel good. I hate it when my pants and it's all stupid, And then women, I learned, don't like it.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if you're going to have
unless you got money,
if there's something right. And I'm a comic, so I never had any.
Right.
Unless you're Donald Trump.
So I think the last time was probably around 2000. I had somewhere around in there. I was chunky big, and then by 2001 too, I had taken it down to what I'm supposed to be.
You got it all under control.
Yeah.
Are we getting Dr. Steve? Eric.
He's looking for him.
He's looking at.
Okay.
It's house call.
A little bit.
He's doing something. He's probably actually.
Wait, why are you laughing?
Surgery.
All right, so Dr. Steve now is in physical therapy. Because apparently he ripped a muscle in his leg. Because he started to run and jog. And he said, never start running. Well, I don't want to give out his age, but when you hit his age, and he started and tore a muscle in his leg. So he'll be out of physical therapy in about 10 minutes.
Okay. He's a mess. Yeah. Dr. Steve's a mess. For a doctor, he's a mess.
He cures himself, though, sometimes.
But wouldn't you think if you're a doctor, you would know at his age, he's around 60. I think he's actually said it. Yeah. That you would know that maybe you got to start off slow and to just start an aggressive running program. Yeah, what did you say? Death by spring?
By jumping jack. That's always get whiplash and tear a calf, and that's it.
Right.
Lie there bleeding internally.
Where are the Cubs at?
The Cubs are down 2-1 in Dodgers. Yes, they're down 2 games to 1. So.
I'll watch the World Series. I haven't watched these games.
They've stopped hitting. They hit a grand slam to win Game 1, and then Kershaw shut their ass down fabulously with 1-0 in the second game, and then last night, slowly but surely, just got slipped away from them. They lost like 6-0.
So they can't even clinch. So you got to watch the debate and go back to baseball.
I want to see them get back to baseball. I want to see them get down 3-1 and start looking for Bartman to murder again. I want to see the friendly confront. Well, they're not in friendly confront; they're in Dodger Stadium. But
we got to be squeezing for the Cubs. You want the Cubs Indians in the World Series.
Well, the good thing about
being amazing.
The good thing about the Cubs is, I guarantee you, if they wanted to, they could outshout the Dodger fans in Dodger Stadium, because I've done that as a Braves fan. And even if it's the goddamn playoffs, I still think you're going to have those wussy ass Dodger fans who are going to show up in the third and go home in the sixth, even if it's a no hitter in the playoffs. I still think they're that shitty. Really, the 5 years I lived there, that was their MO, and I couldn't believe it. And I was never at a playoff game, or probably of a game of any importance. But your dude's throwing a one hitter or a no hitter. You don't get up and go, I got to beat the traffic, got to get out to Calabasas.
It is LA though.
I fucking hated that. And then by then, if your team's winning, it's late in the game. You can hear you can start chanting, and if your dudes are on at home are going, we could hear y'all on TBS out shouting the Dodger fans, in Dodger Stadium.
So you don't leave early?
Fuck, never, ever.
I leave early.
I like being on time. I stay the whole game for just about any game I go to.
It drives people nuts when I say it on the show. I leave early.
I hate it.
I'll watch the last play, like right at an exit door on a TV.
And
then sprint to my car.
No, I like sitting
I'll do
there.
that.
I want to sit there when the stadium's empty. I want to walk around. No, it's a day for me.
No, if I stay, then I do exactly that too. I'll just let the whole fucking place clear out. Where they get mad at you and they start telling you got to move, and I'm like, relax.
Like at the comedy club.
Yeah, relax.
Right. Yeah. Henley, get your friends out of the back of the club.
Let's go
on. Here's Dr. Steve. Dr. Steve.
Hello, boys.
What muscle did you pull?
Oh, I ruptured my plantaris longus muscle.
Isn't that toe? Yeah, isn't that under your foot?
It's like the heel.
No. It goes up the back of your leg. It's
We're
a
all
little
wrong.
Crampy, crampy, useless muscle. 15% of people don't even have one.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
You pulled the muscle that
only 15%
most people don't use or have?
Yeah, that's completely useless. But when you rupture it, it hurts like oh God, it's so bad. And then I split the medial and lateral head of my gastrocnemius, which is the main calf muscle. And so I'm limping around like an idiot. And the only thing I can say is, you don't start long distance running when you're 61 years old. It's stupid.
But you're a doctor. Don't you already know that? And maybe you'd start out a little slow?
Stretch and hydrate.
I'm doing a great program. It's called Couch to 5K, but it was too much for me, apparently.
Couch to 5K.
Couch to 5.
There's no middle part to that, like ottoman. And,
couch, ottoman, throw rug.
Right.
Your speed is more couch to the mailbox.
Yeah.
Thank you for laughing at that. These guys weren't laughing at that. Thank you, Steve. You saved me.
Anyway,
so you got a physical therapy to get back together there, huh?
Yeah. Well, my kids, I was a long distance runner in high school, and then I sat on my ass for 40 years. And, my kid's long distance running now, and he just kind of inspired me to get running, and now look at me, I'm a damn cripple. So.
Now you're out for a few months. Well, all right. Sucks to be you. We got to ask you about Vic Henley. So Vic Henley was told at 14, did you say?
Yeah.
14 years old that he's got to be careful because he has the body type where he can be a fat dude.
Oh, okay.
Is that is that a real thing?
I've seen Vic, and I don't agree with that. Vic is a classic, what I would call mesomorph, which means
mesomorph.
That he's sort of he's in a medium build. There are people who are ectomorphs. They're tall and thin. I don't know if you ever watched
DC Benny, 6'4",
Madman, but his second wife on that show was a classic ectomorph. Real tall and thin.
What about is there endomorph?
Yes, exactly. And then the endomorphs are the people that are sort of pear-shaped, fat toes.
That's the word that was on. That's the word that the doctor wrote on my physical.
You're an endo, so he mismorphed you.
Endomorph, they called you?
Yeah, pear-shaped. I tell you, not muscular, pear-shaped with the stem up.
Morphal profiling.
But no, I told you, I reckon there was a couple of words, and it was the Latin that threw me.
Yeah.
And so I asked my buddy's mom that was a nurse, and she didn't want to tell me. And she goes, "Yeah, it means you could be chunky."
The old teardrop gut.
That's true, huh? Steve?
Well, how about that? Well, there you go.
See, there you go.
Huh. But is there an actual test, or they just look at your body?
I don't know.
No, they just look at you. It's like, you're an endomorph.
Oh, God, I never wanted to be called that.
I didn't like Dr. Brothers. That was my doctor's name, Dr. Brothers.
Dr. Brothers.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
I never liked him.
Oh.
Sounds like
that's weird when they do those
when I was a kid was Dr. Cocaine.
No.
Yeah, I swear to God.
You're lying. Your doctor's name was Dr. Cocaine.
Spell it again.
Pronounced it Dr. Cocaine.
Yeah, how was it spelled?
Cocanne.
Oh,
that's cocaine. That's cocaine.
You should have just embraced it.
Yeah.
DC, we got a doctor on the phone. You got anything going on?
I'm trying to think here. All this,
anything good?
Here, let me ask you this. Speaking of all, I went to a doctor because I had the plantar fasciitis, which is like the
turf toe.
The whatever, I don't know. It hurt. The foot hurts. Your foot hurts. This guy said, he's like, walked down the hall, and he looked at me, and then he made some, he prescribed some stuff and everything. I got the bill, and it was like $100 fee. I couldn't figure out. And I said, what's that for? And he said, that's the gait analysis. And I was like, well, what was that? And he's like, when you walk down the hall, and I watched you. So is that legit, man? Is that a legit thing? I got a gait analysis literally he watched me for 5 seconds.
Wow. Listen, I want to hear what he said.
Was that in an orthopedist office?
It was.
Really was one of primary care.
It was an orthopedist office.
Come up with a better explanation of that.
But he tried to, finagle, like, well, what I did is I watched your, gait and analyzed it. But it was so quick, and it was, I don't know what he got out of it. I really don't know what he could have discerned, what valuable information. So I guess
he was looking at your ass.
Right. Benny's a good-looking man. Ben's a good-looking man. He always dresses well. He's always, not today.
He's like,
not today.
He goes, I'm going to make this guy walk down the hall
a couple of times. Pirouette.
Oh, shoot. Well, that's my medical question for you. Maybe it's not, it's a specialist
I can
field.
Answer it too. There were actually codes for these things, and you can bill for them. But here's the thing, gait analysis, these days, if you go to, let's say, Fleet Feet or a place like that sells running shoes, you'll get basically a high school student who will make you walk, and then they will analyze your gait and give you some inserts, depending on whether you lean in or lean out with your gait and all that stuff.
Sure.
That's the same fucking thing that doctor did. And
Thank you.
$100 for it.
Amazing.
I disputed it, man. I disputed it, just for the record.
Nice.
They can do it. They shouldn't do it, but they can do it. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. What is a gait analysis?
Thank you
up
for
on
that.
Our computer. You watching the debate tonight there, Steve?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't understand why Vic's not watching this.
Just to anger everyone. Just to anger people.
It's going to be a good one.
So, that's what they always say.
A slobber knocker.
Has there ever been a good one?
The second one was pretty amazing.
That Lincoln Douglas one back in the day. That was supposed to be a good one.
Trump was creeping in the background, and
I saw some pictures.
It looked like he was fucking a chair at one point. There was some good stuff. Then you had Ken Bone. I mean, come on. And then the other guy that looked like he was going to drop dead of a heart attack at any moment, but he didn't get the exposure Ken Bone did.
I just feel like
Vic, the entertainment value of the first two wasn't what I thought it would be, but I really think this one's going to be a good.
All right.
The second one started off good, and then it kind of tailed off, but they were off and running early. This one, because Trump has nothing to lose, I think it's gonna get real ugly.
Yeah, something's gonna tumble out.
That's what everybody's hoping.
Of course,
that's what everyne's hoping.
What was that phrase you said earlier? Like gobbler or something?
Slobber knocker.
That might come out.
That's a wrestling term, huh?
Gobble Queen.
Gobble Queen.
Gobble Queen.
That's
another one. And he said slobber knocker. That's a wrestling.
I was
Jim Ross.
Similar.
Jim Ross used to say
Donnybrook.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
A real Pier Sixer.
That's going old school.
Right? That's on the waterfront, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I said a couple weeks ago, I say this whole thing ends with Trump being arrested. How about that? Not this debate. Not this debate. This whole thing.
Oh, at the end of it all,
he hates losing. He can't take it.
So he's going to do something. He's going to snap.
He's going to just say something where they're like, "All right, look, now we got to take it."
Like a Nancy Kerrigan, a Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan kind of thing.
Something.
How about this?
Metaphorically speaking, of course.
They say, Hillary's got this wrapped up. Imagine she goes out there and passes out in front of everybody. How amazing would that be? Yeah, that's why you got to watch this shit.
That's a good news day. They'll have her jacked up on something. Yeah. That's why he wants her drug tested. They'll give her they'll give her a couple of greenies.
Shots,
right. Chocolate covered espresso beans. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, what do you think they're going to give Hillary to get her energized there, Dr. Steve? A little B12 action, maybe?
Well, I don't know about that, but there are medications that are performance enhancing in debate type situations, and one of them is a medication called Provigil, that the military calls them go pills.
Oh yeah,
and they've been shown to be performance enhancing, and they're only indicated for fatigue caused by either shift work disorder, if you're doing swing shifts, or for narcolepsy. But they're abused a lot on college campuses for cramming and stuff like that. So if in a hypothetical situation someone asked me what drug should I take to enhance my performance during, let's just say, a nationally televised debate, I would recommend Provigil.
Provigil.
Make a note of that.
It just sounds perfect.
It does sound good.
Exactly. Right.
When we were growing up, all we had was Black Beauties.
Yeah.
You remember the Black Beauties?
Oh, yeah. White crosses.
White crosses.
White crosses were tiny, 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 and they had a little cross in the middle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you didn't know if that was actually what it was, till you kind of took it.
Yeah, of course. You had to take a chance. There was a risk.
You rolled the dice.
Up there in Geneseo, it was all about the Black Beauties. To stay up all night and cram for a test, and then by the time you got to the test you would fall fucking asleep. It was such a waste of time.
Torn out all your hair, ground your teeth down.
The last thing you wanted to do after staying up all night was take the test that you were probably pretty prepared for, but were too tired to actually deal with.
I would get so jacked up. I'm sitting there drumming on my desk with the pen and forgetting to answer anything. Yeah. I'm looking out the window. I've totally got a whole nother spaz thing going on.
Hearing the voices.
Exactly. Next thing you know, the class is over and I didn't fill out shit. I stayed up all the way through and then forgot to fill it out.
That's awesome. Dr. Steve, anything else? You good?
Nope. Weird medicine, 4 a.m. sometime.
Yeah,
I don't even know what fucking day I'm on it.
All right, you sound like you're miserable.
Good luck with that Latin muscle in the leg that nobody has.
Yeah, 15% of the people don't even have this muscle, and you pull it. Of course, that happens to Dr. Steve. Of course.
Of course.
All right, brother.
Thanks, boys.
All right, there he goes.
All right,
our pal, Dr. Steve. We're going to take a break. DC Benny in studio.
Opie Radio is back.
Vic Henley and DC Benny today. I like this.
Oh, yeah. Depeche Mode.
101 is a great live album. People always ask me about live albums, and that's one you don't normally think of. 101 by Depeche Mode is a fabulous live album.
Indeed.
There's a recommendation.
All right. That comes from the pear-shaped one.
That comes from
Morphe. Morphe.
You needed a safe space when you were 14. So, you can't call a kid pear-shaped nowadays.
No.
Really? But back in your time, are you kidding me? I'm sure they explain it another way if you bring your kid in. They're not going to go, you could possibly be one of those pear-shaped.
I was getting it from my whole family. My mom's chiming in. Mike and Terry called me the baby whale for 5 years. That's all I heard. Hey, whale! Or baby whale! I'm like, at least make me orca. They're mean. Well, you're not mean, pussy. Baby whale. Baby whale. Whales can't ski. They tried to teach me water skiing. Anything I did, just horrible.
Now we know why you're a comic.
They were yelling at me for being fat forever.
They called me Masada Man.
Oh, really? Because they didn't know what you were?
No, because of that Jewish fortress, and then and then half. I got called half, and then
half.
because half Jewish and half not,
half and whatever.
Yeah, and all and that kind of shit.
Masada Man.
Yeah, Masada Man, and bagels. That was the other thing. Yeah,
and you grew up in DC, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, DC Benny.
Yeah,
and you just got sick of politics because it was around you all the time.
I was, it's just like it was everybody. It was constantly, and I just
bombarded all the time with horse shit.
My parents had some people involved in that world that would come over to the house and they would mix with their artist friends. And
they're that. I've met his parents. They're that blend of smart and eclectic and sharp.
There'd be like some pesto with some weed in it, and then shit would go awry. That's what would happen.
I can attest to that. I've heard enough about this in the backside.
The 300-pound opera singer with the glass eye. He would bring the pesto, and then nobody really knew, and then bang, it was on.
And then it was on.
Yeah, so that was the good
Game
part.
on.
Yeah.
Now, who named you though? You got the DC Benny because
when I came to New York, I would work the black rooms. I was a white comic working the black
Token
rooms.
Whitey.
Token Whitey. I was the house cracker, and at the Uptown Comedy Club, nobody could say my last name, Wartofsky. Nobody could say it.
Jeez.
So the guy who hosted
Wartofsky, just like the sound.
Yeah. Uncle Jimmy Mac. Jimmy Mac, he would name everybody, like when you made your bones comedically, like Brooklyn Mike got named Brooklyn Mike. So one day he's like, he can't say my name. He's like, where are you from? Like DC. He's like, so DC Benny. And he's the dude who died in the Tracy Morgan car accident.
Oh, yeah. Legend.
Yeah.
Right.
So his big joke was, he would host a show. His big joke. It was
wait, that guy named you though?
Yeah, that guy named me.
That's what I'm saying.
That guy named me.
It's pretty wild.
He'd be like, everybody liked the sun or something. I can't really remember the joke. But everybody liked the sun, and people would be like, yeah, we like sun. And he'd be like, how you like the moon? He'd turn around and he'd moon the whole audience. That was his closer, man. So he was kind of better at naming, but
better than Tom Arnold's closer.
That's Swallowing the Goldfish. Yeah, but that's how I got the DC Benny thing, man.
That's all right.
Yeah, he's a good dude, though. He's a good dude.
I'm just done with politics.
Yeah, man. I don't know what to say. You guys started talking. I was like, I got to chime in and say something here, but I really don't. Yeah, I can't.
I don't have a horse in this race.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
That's all I need to tell you. But I love the process, and I love how they're just going after each other.
Yeah.
I was token Whitey. He took me to the New Eurekan Poets Cafe.
Oh yeah, it was great.
And that's how he called me one night and said,
I had to drag you out, but you came out.
Yeah, he goes, I need token Whitey. And I went down there, speaking of politics, I went down there and talked about the election my whole
Killed.
set. And they loved it. Yeah, because nobody else was doing it.
Everybody's like, Mira, your landlord, when he comes to the house and banging. I'm like, and then out comes Henley. He's like, how about that George Bush back there? And people were fucking dying, man. You crushed it.
It was really, really fun.
It was great.
I couldn't believe it. And then I went to him and I'm like, you know this circuit. Get me in on it. I go, are they all this good? And he's like, yes, they're all this good. Anything that's specifically all one thing, whether it's a gay room or an Asian room or a black room, the ethnic oddball, whatever you want to call them, the different rooms.
And you just killed in that room.
We crushed it.
They were your people.
You're token Whitey. When it's fun being token Whitey. We never are. It's always the other way around.
Right. My first TV credit was doing the Apollo, and I hadn't never been on. And there was two white guys that were supposed to go on. They were a team, and I was just in the wings. I wasn't even supposed to go, and the crowd was booing everybody off. They booed the producer came out. They booed off Steve Harvey. He came off. His fucking toupee was all tilted, sweating. It was crazy. They were booing everybody off.
That's a tough night.
Yeah. So these guys are like, we're not going on. So the producer came to me. She's like, you want to go on? I was like, yeah, I'll go. I mean, I've never been on TV. So Steve Harvey comes out. He fixes toupee. He comes out and he's like, all right, this next dude, he's like, now, there's not a lot of opportunities, for black performers, you shouldn't be booing, everybody. And he's like, we're going to bring out this next guy. So he brings me out, and I just came out and I said, surprise. And, everybody laughed, and, it was cool. But it was nice. Sometimes when you're the token, it's like, you don't want too many on the show, though. You don't want two white guys. Right. That's the golden rule. Yes. You have one white guy on the show. Two is one too many.
Then you're pushing it.
Yeah.
Now you're getting risky.
Yeah.
Don't ever push it.
Yeah.
I think Voss was the first white dude on the
Apollo.
Yeah.
You don't have to say. You don't have to say. I think that one. You don't have to say. I think. I've heard it a million fucking times.
It's still a good one.
He still tells me
it's a good one.
You've been telling me that for 17 years.
Should be on his headstone.
I do know that you were the first white comic on that show.
Well, it was like me, him, and this guy A.G. White, but Voss had seniority. He'd been doing it, for a while, and so they went with they would look at him. The little arms.
Yeah, we popped it up.
And what happened to A.G.?
A.G. White, yeah.
A.G. White.
Now, that dude only works the black circuit now. Still, like, I went over. I sold out. I work, some in the mainstream and whatever, but that's his thing. He is the dude, man. Yeah. And we were all, like, Voss got it. Voss got the Def Jam. That was just,
he's wearing a Fat Farm hoodie.
Yeah, I know. 5 sizes too big, and that's an extra small.
I've never seen this. Oh, that's crazy.
You've never seen this?
No, I didn't know. I know because
awesome.
once he tells you a million times, you specifically don't want to see it.
Then you avoid it.
Just because you like to teach him about it. That's what
I don't know if we have a good copy of it. I haven't played this in a while.
Oh, okay. You're going to play it?
We used to go to this every once in a while.
Ready for your next act, see, yeah. Ready for your next act, see, yeah. This brother right here has appeared on Showtime at the Apollo, and he is here tonight to make history. You'll see what I mean. Y'all show your love for Rich Voss. Come on, y'all. Rich Voss on Def Jam. Uh-oh.
I can't believe I'm sitting here watching Boss.
I know. He's taking your time, DC Bennett. Let's just hear
a lot of sisters in the house checking me out, huh?
Look at this.
To Spanish folks. There you go. All right. You ever been over a Spanish person's house? They got more furniture than a fucking furniture store.
I kind of want to hear the whole thing now.
You could get sucked into a vacuum with it.
I guarantee you, somewhere, his dick got hard somewhere, and he doesn't understand why right now. Because it's the universe. He's like, something's going on. Somebody's talking about me.
Well,
that's fabulous. That's
we'll
so
tweet
good.
it out. It's Opie Show on Twitter is the new account, and Opie Radio is my personal. I'll retweet it. But Voss on Def Comedy, we haven't listened to that in a bit.
Good Lord.
I want to listen to the whole thing. That'd be lazy, though. DC Benny in the studio today, and the police released video warning against clown activity. And I know you wanted to talk about clowns, but this whole clown phenomenon is getting crazy. Now the police are releasing a video warning of what, Paul?
Like a PSA.
Just a PSA? Can we see the PSA first?
Yep.
All right, here's the PSA. Massachusetts.
Hi, you the one that reported the suspicious person in the area?
Yes, some guy popped out of the woods, scared my daughter half to death, offered her something to go into the woods with him, and then that's when I called you guys.
Okay, do you have a description of what he looked like?
Yeah, he's wearing blue overalls and a green shirt.
Okay, well, don't worry. I'm going to locate him and see what he's up to.
Okay, thank you.
The acting is terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible.
I'd have to switch back to Boss. I thought I'd say that.
Hey, you the clown that was scaring the kids back there?
Maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. What are you going to do about it?
Aw, shit.
You going to do about it? Huh? Tough guy. Huh?
Yeah.
What? By yourself?
Oh, here's the... Oh,
gosh. I'm embarrassed. A whole bunch of police getting out of one car. Get it? I'm uncomfortable by this.
Yeah, this is...
Not what I'm going to do. It's what we're going to do.
Position of Chief Zala that the Dartmouth Police Department is taking a zero-tolerance stance on the recent clown craze plaguing the nation. Please keep in mind that disturbing one's peace, trespassing, and enticing of a child are arrestable offenses, and that anyone who partakes in this senseless and potentially dangerous behavior may be subject to arrest under Massachusetts general laws. If you want to act like a clown, we have no problem treating you like one.
Oh, shit! Oh, laying the hammer down.
Everybody should see that. That is really that is
illuminating.
Bad public service at its finest.
Oh, the acting is terrible.
Top production value, all of it.
They went for a little dumb bit that didn't work. With all the police, cops getting out of the back seat, like 12 of them. Surround the clown, and then they go to that fucking guy. I'm sure he's a wonderful man.
Yeah.
But that was really bad. I love PSAs, though, for stupid shit like that.
That's a keeper.
Yeah.
Well, years ago...
he's got the clown.
Clown. I did, for Comedy Central, I did these commercials where I had to play a clown. And, comedians and clowns don't like each other. It's like East Coast, West Coast. I don't know how you explain it, but it's just like, they got the fucking... You see them.
Yeah.
You got the horn and wah-wah. So it was 2 days... And I was on the fence. I'm like, but I need the money. And so I go, and it's like 6 commercials. And the clown's supposed to be the president of Comedy Central. That's why it's funny. You know? There it is. That's it. There's a bunch of them, right?
I love how you have to explain. That's why it's funny.
So, I show up, and the first day, everybody's mocking me on the union guys. Hey, boo-doo-doodle-oo. Hey, quit clowning around. Hey, bozo. And it's funny the first 30 times, right? The next day, I show up, and about noon, director comes up. He's like, look, we're pretty much wrapped. Why don't you take a 2-hour lunch while we figure out if we got to shoot any more? Here's the thing: the makeup, it's a budget commercial. The makeup guy got sick. Just leave the clown suit on and don't smudge the makeup or anything. So my wife worked at a mental hospital at the time, so I'm like,
she's a psychiatrist.
Yeah, she's a psychiatrist. So I'm like,
God,
what could be funnier than showing up dressed as a clown to me? So hail a cab in New York. I have trouble. Because of the way I look, hailing cabs, not that day. It was like, crazy place. We get to the hospital. The security guard takes one look at me. He's like, checking in. I'm like, no, my wife works here. he gives me the name. She's down the hall. I hear her voice. I jump into the room. I'm like, boot, doot, doodle. And she's in session with like 6 crackheads. You know, one guy's like, hey, and runs out, steals a VCR, go visits boss, you know, whatever. And she's pissed. I mean, she's like, you know, no pussy for a month, like the whole thing, you know. So I still got, I got like an hour and a half to kill some, like, I'll go chill out, get a sandwich. So I go to Washington Square Park, get chill out, get a sandwich. There's a mime in the park, right? I'm like, dude, and he's got a crowd. I'm like, I'm going to go, you know, because, you know, the park, there's always there's the guys. Going on. So I'm like, I'll go mess with the mime, right? So the mime's doing his stuff. So I start doing stuff, and people are laughing like I'm doing it shitty, like I'm trapped in a box or sawing the wood. And the mime's pissed, but he's a mime, so he can't say shit, you know. Hey. So I'm getting the, you know, I'm getting money in the cup and everything, and people are like, the clown's hilarious, whatever. After about 15 minutes, I'm like, you know, I don't want to piss this mime. This is it's his gig. Yeah, it's his gig. So I go sit down and eat the sandwich. Crowd dissipates. The mime comes over. He's pissed because I know now he's talking. He's like, you can't just come clowning in the park. There's a sign-up sheet. You know, there's Master Lee who breaks the boards. There's the tumblers and everything. And
there's a hierarchy.
Yeah, there's a thing. And I'm like, yeah,
there's a thing.
I'm like, dude, you know, that's not what the bearded lady told me. He's like, what beard? I'm like, dude, I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you. So he's like, I'm like, dude, I'm not even really a clown. I'm just chilling out. I'm a comedian. He's like, why'd you say so? So he sits down next to me. He's like, you want to smoke a joint? I'm like, this isn't surreal enough already. I'm like, okay. So in his little Marcel Marceau hat, he's MacGyvered away a joint in the stem of the flower. So we're hitting this thing. We're talking about like I'm saying, you know, the circus or whatever. I'm saying stuff that I think is profound, like, you know, generations or years apart, you know, making up words, life is a revolving door, whatever. And I see his eyes bug out and he just takes off. I'm like, what I say to this dude? 3 cops went our way. They're like, you're under arrest. Get the mime, right? The mime's booking through the park. They tackle the mime. He goes down in slow motion. I'm like, what's going on? They were like, you buying marijuana from a known drug dealer? What are you talking about? They open up his mime makeup kit. No makeup. There's like 50 bags of weed in there. I'm like, what's going on? I ask him, dude, what's going on? He's like, you think I pay the rent miming? So they arrest us both.
You idiot.
As I'm getting...
It's called you an idiot, basically. I love that.
As I'm getting arrested, you know, because it's New York, Washington Square Park, there is a Japanese tourist with a camera. You know, it's like, in New York, crazy place, a mime and clown get arrested every day. Now, take us to a Central Book, and I get the call. I call the wife. She's like, you know, no pussy for another month. Yeah. Right. I call Comedy Central first, and I'm like, hey, they're like, where are you? I'm like, I was smoking a joint with a mime in the park, got arrested, click. So now I have to go back in the cell. And I'm like, I need another call. So I'm acting crazy in the cell. I mean, I'm like, boot, doot, doot, you know, and a dude comes up to me and he's like, what's going on? I'm like, he's like, you can use my phone call. You know, you can use my phone. I'm like, all right. I'm like, but how does that work? He's like, there's a bartering system. I'm like, what does that entail? And he's like, you do birthdays? I'm like, yeah. You know, because I thought it was going to be ass fucking, but it's just a birthday. So I'm like, yeah,
a party.
I'll do a birthday.
I'll do a birthday for the phone call.
So I call the wife. She's like, no pussy for a month or whatever. So the commercials come out, you know, and they air for like 2 weeks and they yank them. I don't know what happened. So it must have been about 5 years ago. I'm in Soho and I got a show that night. I think the Cellar or something like that. And I'm walking around. I'm killing some time. There's this art gallery. I'm like, I'll just go in there, pretend I'm going to buy some shit, get some free wine. I go in there, place is packed, right? And I'm pointing out stuff, pretend I'm, you know, how much is that fascinating red box against the fire alarm, sir? Yes. You know, and I'm drinking. I realize everybody in this place is Japanese. Like, and I'm 6'4". I'm walking through like fucking Godzilla or whatever. And it's cool. It's an exhibit of like New York archetypical stuff, like the fire hydrant and this and that paper mache fire. And there's a photo exhibit in the back, and everybody's looking at this one photo. And I look at it, and there's a photo of a guy getting arrested, getting stuff in the back of the police car. It's me from that day. And underneath it says something in Japanese. And I asked the dude, I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, what does that mean? He takes one look at it and he goes, tough town for the clown. And I think it's a postcard somewhere. So that's my crazy clown story.
Wow. How fabulous is that?
That is wonderful.
That is too damn good.
What are the odds that you would be in there and they have the picture of you getting arrested?
That's what a clown.
Tough town.
Yeah.
I want to see one of those promos. I'm trying to remember.
How did this clown thing get started? Like, what was the catalyst?
Do you know about the clown thing, Eric?
No, we lost him.
He ran to the office.
Oh, he ran back to the office? Do you know, Paul?
South Carolina, I think people were just dressing them up, trying to lure kids into the woods, and then it just got picked up, and everybody else just started doing it all over the place.
Oh.
Once again, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Starting shit up.
Heck, nabbit.
But now they're taking it seriously. What was going to tell you? The Halloween costumes. Do you have the video from the news? Or you just have the story? Yeah, University of Florida offers counseling for students offended by Halloween costumes. This happens every fucking year.
So some of
counseling.
What were the offensive costumes?
What do we got? Some Halloween costumes reinforce stereotypes of particular races, genders, cultures, or religions. Regardless of intent, these costumes can perpetuate. Oh my God! Negative stereotypes causing harm and offense to groups of people, the school administration wrote in a blog spot. If you're troubled by an incident that does occur, please know that there are many resources available to you. This is unbelievable that this is going on college campuses. But the university isn't joking. Administrators want students to know that there is a 24-hour hotline available through its counseling and wellness center should they need to talk. The school also has a bias education and response team to handle reports of any discriminatory incidents. If you choose to participate in Halloween activities, we encourage you to think about your choices of costumes and themes, the school advised. Thanks students for being mindful of these values before concluding. Have a fun and safe Halloween.
Wow, does that suck?
Life has changed a little bit since when we were growing up, huh?
Have you ever gone the controversial costume or think of one?
Nothing that great. Did you do one?
I went as after the Waco thing. I went as David Koresh.
Wow.
And my wife at the time went as my pregnant teenage disciple. Wow. And so we went to the Goodwill and bought a bunch of old clothes. I actually took them out behind my apartment in Los Angeles where I was living at the time. Set them on fire, stomped them out, then put them on. I had a big fake gun. I had extra big pair of pants, and I had a gun on one side and a Bible on the other. And I would just walk up to people at the party going, "I'm gonna get you one way or the other." And she's got her hair in pigtails, and she's pregnant out to here, and she's got a giant Donald Duck lollipop sucker, and she's wearing like a Mickey Mouse necklace. And we won the prize. We were at it was somebody's house party. We won, and I could never. That was the only time I ever thought of doing anything like that. And I'm like, I didn't really think that was that awful or whatever.
I remember years ago, right after 9/11, Marlon Brando taught some acting class.
Oh shit!
And there was this director Tony Kaye who did American History X. He did
That's a great movie. Yeah.
And he was kind of out of his mind. He used to come around and want to do stand up. He'd come to the clubs, do a little stand up and everything. And he was they teamed up to do this acting class, and he showed up, Tony Kaye showed up dressed as Osama bin Laden and taught the whole class like that. Like they were eating cookies, and it was just the most bizarre thing. And people would line up, for this class because Brando's there.
Brando.
Yeah. And I remember a couple comics told me they went to the class, and it was just so bizarre. Tony Kaye did. He
looks like Osama bin Laden in that picture. Right?
A little bit. With that beard.
He looks different all the time. That's how he was looking before.
Right.
Yeah.
Without the beard.
Yeah, but he...
well, it's stupid. I mean, Halloween was known for just getting outrageous with your costumes.
Fred Armisen used to go on SNL and play guitar as Saddam Hussein.
Oh, really?
He had this weird thing where, if Saddam had fallen out of favor and had to make his comeback as a rock and roller, and he did it at Bonnaroo. I was at Bonnaroo.
Oh, really?
Me and Brew were with him at Bonnaroo, and he was doing it, and it was just so fun to watch 900 people either it was a total room divider. You either thought it was the greatest, weirdest thing in the world,
right?
Or you're just like, what the fuck's this guy doing?
It's amazing.
It's completely obvious. It's Saddam Hussein. He's fucking playing guitar. What do you think he's doing?
Well, here we go. The top. So these are the 10 offensive 2016 Halloween costumes. Perfect. Here, go back up to that headline there, Paulie. To avoid at all costs, because racism and sexism are never funny.
So no women can be slutty anything this year. Then that's what we're saying. If sexism's not funny, then slutty everything is out. Finally,
that's so stupid when they say never funny.
Never ever.
Yeah, because there's always
anything can be fucking funny.
Yes, it can. I agree. There's no line.
Hilarious.
So what is it? Don't go as a homeless person is on the list. Well, you may think you've been clever with your any candy helps cardboard signs. You're actually being incredibly insensitive when you dress up like a homeless person for Halloween. A serious epidemic this can't be a real article. I'm saying it right now. I think people are fucking with us.
That's Caroline Ray from Sabrina and the Teenage Witch Day. That's a really old clip.
A serious epidemic in the United States. Over 1.5 million people are homeless in this country and are struggling to find food, shelter, jobs, and healthcare every day. That is no laughing matter. I'm saying this has got to be bullshit.
Yeah, this can't be.
Right?
Yeah. But
racist. Well, the number 2 is racist stereotypes. So then that's not bullshit.
I love the Indian with the
there she is. That's the famous actress. That's the girl from Dancing Julianne Hough.
Oh well, I thought
she did the blackface thing.
I thought that was.
She regrets.
I thought that was hilarious.
Ted Danson is
that
classic.
Ted Danson one. That roast.
That's Hall of Fame.
But he got away with it because he was going out with Whoopi Goldberg.
Sure. I'm still saying that's Hall of Fame good. Though.
Whoopi Goldberg gave him the nod.
Yes,
I
know.
He goes. She goes. Yeah. Well, he goes. He goes to Ted Danson.
Al Sharpton still didn't like it though, if I remember correctly.
But I mean, he got the nod from Whoopi, who he was dating.
I thought that, but still, everybody were stomping and fighting and screaming about that one.
That was Friars Club too, right?
Right, especially.
Yeah. Did we tap out on that other article? Why did we tap out? When they went with racist stereotypes, then I was starting to think that it might actually be real. 18 offensive Halloween costumes that shouldn't exist. Native American seductress.
Love that one.
Oh,
Pocahontas.
Give me a break. That looks really nice.
Yeah. Like a Pocahontas.
Humorous lifeguard bush costume.
I don't even know what that is. It's supposed to be a female. It's supposed to be a female lifeguard, yeah.
Yeah, but the guy's wearing it, and then you got a giant bush popping out the sides. Why? That's hilarious. This is another. But this is cosmopolitan. They don't have a sense of humor. Sexy shooter happy hour costume. Just sort of like a Bruce Jenner Olympian costume. What?
I think this is more like last year's stuff.
Yeah, well, obviously, Bruce was a lot hotter last year. Bruce Jenner, get it? Fat hula dancer costume. This is what Hollywood was made for. Like, what are you supposed to dress up as?
Yeah, it's like kind of the same costume.
Ghost and Dracula, bigger in Texas offensive humor costume. The guy's got a giant dick with a trench coat with a giant 10-gallon hat. Exotic Jewel of the East costume, dressed as genie. Hippie, convicted cutie costume. This douchebag costume. Keeps going on and on. They're serious though because it's cosmopolitan.
Yeah,
gorgeous pink geisha tampon costume. Day of the Dead Spanish. All right, this goes on and on and on and on and on.
None of them look that. I don't know.
It's crazy.
Now they're fucking with our Halloween costumes. Let's relax a little bit, right?
You
would go to those parties and you'd be like, shit,
exactly.
Dude, that one's
when it was
all
really,
right.
Or even if it was just, I saw a guy at a frat party when I was in college, and he had just gone out into the shrubbery and broken off 1 million limbs, and then bought 9 or 10 condoms and unwrapped them and hung them all over him, stuck them all inside his clothes, and he was a rubber tree. But all night long, everybody had to keep going up to him, going, "Dude, what's up with the fucking condoms on the shrubbery?" He's like, "I'm a rubber tree, dickhead." And so that probably wouldn't be allowed now. That would be, some sort
of. In Germany, they got that. What is that? It's like a Santa Claus, but it's not. It's like the black Santa Claus, and it's very when they show pictures. It's like the Krampus guy. It's just very offensive. It's very offensive in the States, but there, it's just sort of this black Santa Claus that goes around and does
nice things.
Now I think it does bad stuff too.
Oh, right.
But it's
okay with the tongue and looks like the devil basically.
Yeah.
But I think there's another version where it's basically not a monster. It's like a dude that happens to be a black dude, in Germany, and they're like, that's
pretty offensive.
Yeah.
Does he come out
fun?
Is that Walpurgisnacht?
Walpurgisnacht.
Do you know that one? That's some sort of, does Krampus come out?
See the dude on the right.
That dude.
Oh, that dude's in blackface.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Black Pete.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it is. It's Black Pete.
He's a companion of St. Nicholas.
A companion.
That's what he says.
I know, I see that.
He's the Robin to his Batman.
But it looks horrible, right? If you see it here.
Yes,
right?
it looks, I never knew that existed. That's great.
Yeah, you would have to have huge balls to walk around.
I'm just being Black Pete,
Black Pete. Come on.
That's great.
What was that other article? They have warnings on Halloween costumes?
Yeah, this one says items contained in this package are offensive and promote the sexualization of indigenous women and peoples. Please avoid contact with these dangerous materials. They're putting them on Halloween costumes.
Because they're flammable. Doesn't have anything to do with the profile, really.
You think?
No, I'm sorry. Steel screw always catch on fire.
Dick bursts into flame. Yeah.
Did you ever have the guy with the dick? Did you know anybody that played that prank when that was big for a while? There were aprons you could buy that had this. Oh no! They had the sock dick on the underneath, and it was the first. My buddy's grandmother. I had a manager. And that was her go-to move.
Really?
She couldn't wait to come to his wedding and put on the apron with the dick underneath it to show it to everybody. And she was like 83 years old from West Virginia.
Well, good for her.
And he told us for a month leading up to the wedding, we're trying to get her not to bring the dick apron thing, and she's not having it. You're going to see the dick apron thing at my wedding reception.
Genius.
And she walked around the Riviera Country Club pulling out the fucking dick apron thing all the time. Absolutely.
And it killed every time, right?
It's one of those where it's funny for 4 or 5 times.
And then it's like, all right, I'm out for
yeah, but then when you get up to about 70, it becomes funny again.
I understand the rules of comedy.
Okay,
gotta let it fade away, and then it comes back, and it becomes funny again.
It makes a retro comeback. Yeah.
Let's go to Kenny in Kansas. Kenny, go ahead.
Yeah, I seen on read some article the other day about a professor. The pumpkin spice lattes are now a sign of white privilege. So are pumpkins and most Halloween decorations.
That's good.
Yes.
White privilege. The cinnamon.
The perfect example of white privilege is pumpkin spice
reappropriating the pumpkin.
That's right.
Very nice there, sir.
Yeah, nice call, dude.
Your pumpkin spice latte is overflowing with white privilege, says academic. It's getting exhausting out there. Let me hear this.
And affecting the nation's campuses. A newly released study in the academic journal Geo-Humanities says pumpkins are a racial issue and pumpkin spice lattes are a symbol of white privilege. The peer-reviewed article is titled The Perilous Whiteness of Pumpkins. This is real.
It's great.
What's that dude's name?
This is real.
What's his name?
I forgot his name.
Is it Brett Hume?
Yeah, it might be.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right.
This is real.
I haven't seen him in a while. He's aged a little bit. I think you're right.
Maybe that was great.
This is real. He had to tell you like this. He wanted to say this is so fucking stupid.
Exactly.
All right, continue with this.
Whiteness of pumpkins. This is real. It seeks to answer such questions as, why did pumpkin spice lattes become the symbol of basic white girlness? And why did they stick even more than Uggs, yoga pants, or scented candles? California State University San Marcos has assured illegal immigrant students that they will not be deported by campus police. An email to students says the university police department will not contact, detain, question, or arrest any student suspected of being an illegal immigrant. The email also noted that U.S. Customs and Border Patrol will attend a career services event on campus, but, quote, these agencies are attending in a recruitment capacity.
The video is titled Campus Craziness, so I'm assuming he's going around and showing you all the ridiculous stuff happening on college campuses, right?
Like, why is the whiteness of pumpkins?
I don't pay attention to that shit.
You know?
I just hope the Roloff family gets it going for one more season. Just get those pumpkins out one more season.
One more time.
For the little people.
You're a fan, right?
I love
When is it coming back?
I don't know, but they can't just leave us hanging.
I need to know what's going to happen.
Do you know about the Roloffs, the little people?
Amy and Matt Roloff, they got a divorce, and now we're not sure if they're going to sell the farm. They might have to sell the farm.
What's happening?
It's a show called Little People Big World. Oh, it's a real. But they
you never saw Little People Big World?
You don't know about Little People Big World? Oh my
God! If you got Matt and Amy Roloff, they were never. I'll do it for them. They were never in love, but because they were both little people, they met at a convention, said, "Well, fuck, it's not going to get any better than this." So they got married right away without even really getting to know each other, and then they had 4 kids, and 3 of them are regular size.
I was going to say
normal size. I'll say it. Normal size kids. And then the one
twins.
is a little person.
Yeah.
Compact individuals.
That's his twin brother.
And not only does he have 3 of them are normal size, they're really tall, over 6 foot tall.
These 2 are so tan. What's the deal with that?
Which ones?
These right here, the littler.
The little people?
Yeah, they're very tan.
Well, they work outside a lot of
time. Oh, okay, that's
then, after many years of this show, they finally get a divorce. Everyone who watches the show knew that they just weren't in love ever.
It's classic bickering family on a reality TV show. They just happen to be this bickering family.
Wow. But raised wonderful kids. So
kidding. Yeah, it's cool.
This past season, the divorce was finalized, and they're trying to work together as business partners because they got the the spice. They got the what is it? The salsa, the pumpkin.
Oh yeah, they're making a salsa.
A pumpkin salsa that's doing very well. And then they got the pumpkin farm where everyone comes and does all the fall activities and gets the pick their pumpkins. But now they're not really getting along even as business partners. So now the kids are really nervous because they might have to sell the farm.
This is the whole reason there's 80 other little. This was the first one,
right?
And it was such a smash hit that everybody else jumps on the copycat train. That's where all the other Little People shows came from.
Yeah, I saw one with the dogs or something.
Pit Boss,
that one I saw.
If you watch that one, you're just watching because you want the dog to shake him. That's the only reason you're watching that one. It's because they're the same size.
So this is the original.
I believe this is the first one that was the jumping off that made it a smash hit. They got some great ratings, and everybody went, "Find us some Little People." Next thing you know, you got the dude with the dogs, and you got the lady that's adopting a baby, and she's a doctor, and then there's the chocolate makers.
Oh, you know them all, man.
I was fascinated.
Henley doesn't play.
I was fascinated because I think I couldn't figure out where they all came from, and it was just a typical TV phenomenon. There's Little Divas, like the Real Housewives. There's Little Divas. It's all Little people. So they found some little whores too.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. There's Little Women in Atlanta. That's Little Women in L.A. Three
wow.
of them.
Are they strippers or like they're?
No, they're just entitled bitches like the other ones. All the other just skanky fucking nasty women that are bad for America.
How the fuck do you get entitled?
I don't know. I'm just saying the
world's already against you, and then you're able to spin that and get entitled.
It's because your parents told you that you're beautiful. You don't listen to what anybody says, but
then Little People Big World. Then one of the kids said, "This is all fucking bullshit," and he moved out to L.A. He might be a pothead, and now he's trashing the family and giving all the secrets away. Like half that shit, half those storylines were bullshit.
They're really tall. They're on their knees.
It's Tim Conway.
Tim Conway.
You got to pull out the
Dwarf on Golf or whatever it was.
Dwarf on Golf.
And then Zach and Jeremy, they're now married, and Zach, who's the little one, he married a normal sized woman.
I'm so behind, man.
And now the Matt and Amy, they're waiting for the grandkids because then they'll be the next generation.
Incredible.
That's lovely.
And they make this pumpkin salsa, and so this could impact them if this pumpkin thing
find the roll off. See if we can find the brand.
You're concerned now, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I'm getting sucked into this whole thing.
I was in for years, and I had to give up, and then I started coming down here a couple of years ago, and I found out. I said this to him one day, and he was like, "Oh my God!"
I don't get excited.
Like his family. He knew everybody's name, birthdays. That was the Capricorn.
I don't get excited about many TV shows, but man, I follow the roll-offs.
Okay.
Because Matt's amazing. He's a little person, and he also can't even walk. He has crutches.
Right. Oh, wow.
And he built this whole farm.
Yes, wow.
Although he fucking, just tells everyone else what to do.
But the guy's got
the guy's
drive.
Never raised a hammer. But
the guy's got drive. He had some goddamn ideas, and he stuck with it, by God.
He's a great foreman.
So, we got the pumpkin peach salsa, the pumpkin verde.
And I'll bet this stuff's flying off the shelves.
I hope it is.
Yeah.
I hope it is.
Well, they had a problem with the labels, if you need to know.
Oh, really? Was that a whole episode?
Oh, there was arguments like, we need a better label.
Oh. They moved to New York, yeah.
I think that was a 2-part episode.
Really? Better label.
They left you hanging.
This lid needs to seal better on this.
They weren't happy with the orange label, I believe. And
I could see that, though. I could see you got to upgrade, class it up a little bit. This is salsa,
It's pot talk in the afternoons.
Oh, God almighty.
And then I think Amy might like the ladies.
No, really?
How about that one?
You could merge that.
Vic?
I saw that episode when she had girls' weekend at the farm.
She gets very happy when it's girls' weekend at the farm there, DC Benny.
What happens? What do they do?
She's got
do they
a little
show a little
smile on her face.
Oh, they go out on the 4-wheelers and they go riding around. They light candles.
Kick the ball.
But the problem is they're a very religious family, and they used to focus on the religion a little bit in the early seasons. But I think then TLC said, "Look, we're losing viewers, so let's not talk about the God stuff as much."
Okay,
right.
Get a little tighter outfits, a little more sorted.
Oh, and they read to the kitchen so she could reach all the counters and doesn't have to get on stools to get all her stuff when she's cooking.
Backsplash anywhere? Is it?
It's a nice backsplash.
Okay. All right.
It's nice.
You can tell you're married.
Yeah.
Still, he's married, and I've been married.
We've married and renovated. So, yeah.
I can understand playing a good backsplash now.
How do you feel about a ceiling medallion?
Yeah, well, the new thing is chandeliers. I fucking hate chandeliers.
I don't like chandeliers.
And people are trying to. We're redoing something right now. Some of my place, and they're talking about chandeliers. I'm like, I fucking hate chandeliers. I'm a guy from Long Island. I don't want a chandelier.
Not a fan. My mom had a chandelier over the dining table, but it was too fucking low, and I would bang my head every time.
Yes.
And finally, when she passed away, my dad's like, all right, that chandelier's got to go. And we took that thing down.
He waited.
There's a light bulb in there now.
And then you can never move the table if you have a chandelier.
Nah, you can't.
You move the table, and then the chandelier's just hanging there all awkward, and it's too much work to redo the whole fucking thing.
Oh, that thing. Yeah,
that's a stupid chandelier. You got a big fan on the phone there, DC Benny.
Oh, really?
Chris in Louisiana. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Benny.
What's happening,
Chris? Good to hear you on the video, bro.
Hey, good to be here, man.
Hey, it's good timing because I loved your showtime at the Apollo spot when you had a joke about little people on that one, didn't you?
I think I did, and hopefully you're not one, and I didn't offend you.
Nice.
No, man, I'm above 6 feet, but that was a good joke, and also the one about the Jamaican nannies raising the young white rich kids.
Oh yeah, well that's my neighborhood in Brooklyn, man. That's all you see, these Jamaican nannies with the little white kids.
You want to talk about that? I could talk about that shit.
Oh, it's crazy, man.
Because when I was doing mornings, I was the only real parent at the parks every day.
Packs of nannies.
Because I'm lucky.
Oh, wow, yeah, sure.
I'm lucky, so I'm not a 9-to-5er, so I was able to bring my kids to the parks.
Yeah.
And it is unbelievable. All Jamaican nannies, all on their phones, don't give a fuck about the white kid that they're supposedly watching. They'll hear a kid scream, they'll all look up and go, "Oh, it's not mine," and then they'll go right back to talking
what
shit.
What the blood? Put that cheering them sleep now.
Cheering,
yeah, but it's good. It's good jobs. That's a good job. They get a lot of times it's health insurance. A lot of times they got a little spot in the a little, I see that there's a lot of nannies in my neighborhood. I never see white nannies. I never see white nannies.
That was my Neil Patrick Harris did Clara's Heart with Whoopi Goldberg, and she's his nanny.
Right.
And I just remember because he could do the accent as a kid, and I thought it was such a hilarious juxtaposition to see little tiny before he was Doogie Howser, he was that.
Yeah.
And then he's just rolling the full get me beef patty. He's rolling full Jamaica. Every cliche, everything I did all the time. I was like, I don't know why this is fascinating to me.
It made me realize never get a nanny, because I also saw the nannies talking to the mom every once in a while, and then as soon as the mom was out of the picture, they treated the kids way differently. Not abusing them, but not as nice as they were in front of the in front of the actual
mom. There's got to be a little resentment that you're not at home with your kid. You're taking care of this. It's like just cheering right blood.
Is that the sound?
That's the sound, the sucking of the teeth.
Oh yeah, they would suck their teeth.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, and he's right on it.
That was the one joke. I went to Trinidad and I did comedy there. And that one joke, man, that Jamaica joke, I don't know, that thing travels with me everywhere I go, from the Apollo there.
That's the gig, yeah. They loved you. They liked him so much in Trinidad, they would have taken me on that gig. That's how well he did. He can't, because we always try to help each other.
Sure. Yeah.
And especially when somebody's automatically going to let you hand the gig to your friend.
Yeah.
And he got carte blanche because he did so well down there. And he came home and called him. And I'm like, you're calling me for this?
Eric needs to interrupt. Go ahead, Eric.
So there's some breaking news that you should be aware of.
Yeah, actually I know Tony Burton very well, and he just texted me going, "Dude, I have nothing to do with this."
So can we make this announcement now?
What are we doing?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right. So according to Inside Radio on their headlines here, that we are welcoming Mike Calta, formerly of the Cowhead Show, as the official co-host with Opie.
Voss. Okay. Thanks to Rich Voss for letting the cat out of the bag early. Come December, I will be co-hosting afternoons with Opie Radio on Sirius XM.
All right.
Sorry, Vic. I was going to tell you later today. No. So then I got a text from Tony Burton. Hey, man. You know it's going to be a good text when it starts with, hey, man. Hey, man. Talkers printed an article saying Mike was co-hosting with you based on a conversation with Voss about Mike filling in over Thanksgiving if you need him. I called them to correct their mix-up, and they are running a correction tomorrow.
Oh, that's funny.
That does no good now.
That's hilarious.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, cause Cowhead's from New York, and he said, hey, man, can I come in during Thanksgiving? I said, yes, and somehow that got spun into he's joining the show. That's
everybody,
not true.
There's 700 people joining the show. It's like clowns out of that car.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like cops out of that cop car in the
Keystone Comics.
My brother writes, White Nanny is called Amber Alert.
I don't know.
I don't know that one. I don't know if it was
either.
Brett, I apologize for blowing up your spot. I wasn't sure if you were going for a joke or if that's an actual fact, and now it got the best out of me, so I don't know. All right. That's our music already? Fuck. That was fun.
Yeah.
Ben?
Yeah.
Always good to see you, buddy.
Hey, man, it was great to lose my cherry and get on this show, man. You know?
You are coming back, my friend.
Awesome,
I like
man.
DC Benny. He's not really promoting anything of substance.
All over New York City, man.
Yeah, all over New York City. In Montreal, November, I'm at the Comedy Nest and the real DC Benny on Instagram. How about that?
There you go.
And when you have like a real gig you need to promote, you fucking look us up and
That'll
we'll do
be
it
great,
proper.
man.
How's
That'd
that?
be great. Awesome.
Yeah, Vic vouched for you. Said you got to
He's
get
a good
DC
man
in here, man.
He's a good man. It's good. It's
a lot of good food I've eaten. A lot of good, If you've been to my house, that's
the lentils, brother. You got the lentils.
I called him bothering about a lentil recipe one day. 2 days later, I'm like, I need that fucking lentil recipe right now.
Nice. Oh, we can talk lentils.
We haven't talked backsplash and ceiling medallions
and lentil chili, right?
Oh,
shit. Vic, what do you got? We're running out of time.
I got Hard Rock in Sioux City and Omaha Funny Bone, 9 through 12 November.
All right, Opie Radio on the Twitter, looking for some people, some new people. If you're enjoying the show, please follow me. And I guess on the YouTube channel, we got the Jim Brewer talking about his itchy donkey, and maybe a video from today's show. You never know. Tomorrow, Artie Lang. And who else? Oh, Morgan Spurlock talking about that rat documentary.
Awesome.
And maybe some more from Vic Henley. We'll figure it out. Thanks for listening.